The new Everyday Moments collection by Close to My Heart for use with the Cricut has some fully designed scrapbook layouts ready to go, making it really easy to complete an entire project in a single sitting. I have cut this out, this collection out, and this one is called Forever Friends is the name of the piece. And I cut it out according to the designs and the colours that were shown on the Cricut Design Space. And so in this cut, you cut out this wreath. I have cut it using the white daisy cardstock, excuse my head, in there. And I am now backing some of the floral pieces with the other cardstock colours that I cut as well. So this is using the raspberry to go behind some of these little roses, and you'll see how this all sort of ties together when I flip it over, and you can see the different colours peeking through in there. So this design, and while I was playing with this and putting this page together, it made me think of so many different ways I can use the different elements in this particular layout that is ready to go and is super simple, but there are so many other possibilities with this as well, and I've done some other pages that I can show you that later on, or some different videos that you can have a look at. So I think it was Bashful. I used the Bashful cardstock that I'm tucking in behind kind of these more daisy-like flowers here, and there's different sizes there. The liquid glass is invaluable when it comes to adding some of these fine little pieces to it. These little yellow backing here, I think it was lemonade I used for these ones. They were a bit fiddly to make sure I got them on the right flower to add that colour in the background. So the green leaves that are there, I have cut the backing for those out of julep and am just sticking them down. The piece that you can see to the right there, I used peach cardstock and it's cut a whole lot of little dots or little circles out. Looks like the hole punch has been busy, but very perfectly spaced all the way around the outside of that piece there. So these little extra leaves were part of the cut as well, those ones that you can see to the right there. The title for the layout, this is one layer on using, I've cut it out of raspberry and sticking it onto the white daisy cardstock, and now I'm just going to back some of these single roses or the single rose that was there as well, putting it onto the raspberry, and again the julep on these leaves that were also a single piece in this. So these roses and the leaves especially, I think, can be used in heaps of different ways. So here you can see the colour popping through from behind. The Cricut design also includes the photo mats ready to go, and that just takes out a lot of that thinking and designing for you, so the pages are ready to go. So I've used photos of a road trip my daughter went on with a friend of hers, because I felt that fitted really nicely with that Forever Friends title. The fruit from Cromwell that they're standing under in one of the pictures also ties in nicely with the colours of this layout. So I'm using the liquid glass to stick down some of the bigger pieces as well as in some of the finer parts of it, so that I can stick this onto the background. And so carefully placing this on. Liquid glass is quite forgiving and will allow you to move things around a bit, but you don't want it to show through too much because you get sort of that shiny look as it dries. So these individual leaves, just tucking them into different places along the way, just to add to that sort of random nature that foliage and plants seem to have when they're growing all over the place. And sticking down the two photographs, and this little piece here was also there ready to be tucked in behind, and the rose up the top, and using a little bit of foam tape to lift off the actual rose piece there off from the leaves. And again, the 3D foam tape for the journaling, the title banner, I guess it is, more than the journaling section. And so I decide that I'm going to put the white daisy in behind the cutout pieces, but I don't need all of it. I just need enough to frame or to be able to tuck under that background. So I'm just going to add some of the adhesive around here so that I can stick the layout on top. And you can see the white just peeking through again around the outside edge there. I decided to put some liquid glass inside each of the yellow pieces so that as this dries it adds a nice shiny glistening look to it. And then I used the shimmer brush inside the pinker flowers, just the clear shimmer brush there. And I also decided to go over the top of a lot of the white daisy with the shimmer brush as well. It just gives it an extra lift, an extra dimension, especially when you look up really nice and close to these this layout. And so now I'm adding some of just a little bit of the gems or the sparkling shapes, and before adding a little bit more of the shimmer brush. I'm not sure if you could have too much shimmer brush because it's a really nice subtle look, but I think it just finished things off beautifully here and even inside some of the flowers. And there we have a layout, super simple, straight from the cartridge.